Hello, my name's Tracy, and I'm going to share with you a little information on my experience with complex migraines. About 11 weeks ago, I started to experience some extreme memory loss, memory function, executive functioning issues. I had been in and out of the hospital, stayed overnight, stayed 2 nights, while they were trying to figure out why, one, my memory was really, really bad. 2, I was feeling very lethargic, very weak, very tired. The fatigue was absolutely incredible. So in and out of the hospital for that about 11 weeks, I guess you would say. Finally, they decide at the hospital that they're going to send me to a neurologist. But nothing was showing up on my CAT scans or my MRIs, which was really weird. But I was having very low scores on something called a neurotrax, which basically explains and shows the doctor where your executive function is in the front of your brain, how well that's working, how your working memory is, what your attention is. So I got my scores back, and my scores were anywhere from 60 to 84, which is really low. I mean, that's something an elderly senior who is struggling with memory loss would experience. I had an EEG. My EEG was fine. No interruptions in that whatsoever. So after finally breaking down and going to the good neurologist in Atlanta, I decided to follow some of his advice, which was, it is very possible that you are having migraines, and something called complex migraines. They're not the migraines that give you a headache. These are migraines that give you vision issues, ringing in the ear, numbness on the side of your face, on the side of your head, on your arms, confusion, really bad confusion. I got to a point to where I couldn't even really carry a conversation. You will actually hear me through this go, and that is because I have to search for words sometimes to get them out. I would say it is about 80% better right now that I'm on medication. But in the beginning, it was very difficult to carry a conversation with anyone. I would start a sentence and stop, search, looking around, trying to figure out what I'm trying to say, and half the time look at the person and say, I don't know what I was going to say. So it's been a really scary ride, especially with the memory loss. I was out of work. I couldn't drive. My visual spatial of how I determine how things sit in space was very off for me. I was extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? Off balance. I was tripping. I was a fall risk. It was so scary. I thought, what is going on with me? It really did scare me in the beginning because I really thought, is this early onset Alzheimer's? It was so frightening. So my doctor in Atlanta says, you know, dear, you have what I would call complex migraines. Complex migraines are migraines that are a stroke-like effect. So once again, no headaches. What do I get? I get slurring. I get half of the side of my face that is numb. I get tingling sensations, almost like butterflies in my brain, or like an egg cracked on my head, and you just kind of feel it trickling down. I get numbness on the side that's affected. I get weakness, stuff like that. Visual disturbances. I see black spots. I struggle with words. That has been the most frustrating thing, is trying to get my words out. Today is pretty much a pretty decent day. Last weekend, I went to the hospital because one of the worst symptoms I've had yet was facial paralysis. So this whole side of my face drooped on me. I woke up. I was feeling awful. I had an attack in the middle of the night. And when I woke up at 7:30, I realized I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't going to be able to make it to my convention. I went back to bed. I woke back up at 11:30, which is so off for me. When I took a look in the mirror, I was blown away. I had facial droop. My eye was drooping. The whole side of my face was numb. My tongue, I was slurring my speech. Immediately, I ended up going to the hospital. When I got there, they took me in as a stroke alert. I didn't even go to triage. They took me straight back, started putting IVs in my arms in the middle of the nurses' station while 4 nurses and a doctor stood over me, getting me prepped to go into a CT scan with contrast. From the moment that I got to the door to the moment I got into CAT scan was probably no more than 8 to 9 minutes. It was so quick. They were 100% sure that I was having a stroke or a TIA. With complex migraines, they do mimic strokes. So this is a very common symptom to get when you struggle with complex migraines. It just so happened that it was a brand new symptom for me. And my doctors have never had this in records to say, yes, this is normal for you. So everybody was very concerned. The red alarms went off and I was taken to the hospital. They started doing charts on me of like making me read things that I couldn't read. I was getting all messed up with my wording. They'd make me smile and half of my face was drooping. Over a matter of like every 2 hours, as they kept retesting me and asking me questions, it got better and it got better and it got better. So with a TIA or a complex migraine, it should resolve itself within 24 hours. So I was stayed at the hospital and they did an observation on me. And by midnight, the nurse who was working with me actually said, wow, you look 100% better. I can tell that you're coming back around. It was very, very frightening to think that I was having a migraine or a stroke, which they weren't really clear on because they mimic, they're so close. They did find beating in my brain vessels or the blood vessels. My vessels look like a pearl necklace is how he said it. So that, once again, is, from what the doctor told me, is very normal with migraines, complex, and sometimes they see it in TIAs. So today I went back to my follow-up from my physician, and he really felt like this was more of a migraine symptom than the TIA. But with that being said, he told me that if I were to experience, once again, symptoms like this, to not hesitate to go straight to the hospital. We would rather be safe than sorry. So this is my story, and I'm going to track my progress as we go along. I'm going to post a video after this showing you a little bit of what I looked like on video before heading to the hospital. to be able to watch what I look like today versus the way that I looked when I was having this kind of stroke-like thing setting in. So this is just going to be more of an informational and my experiences and my journey. And, you know, I hope by doing this video that someone else who is going through these experiences, this may help them feel like, hey, you know, I'm not the only one out there experiencing these things. Someone is walking this walk with me. So I'll be back. I'll log my journeys or my journey and see to show you how I'm doing and how things are going. I'm going to apologize in advance because I will say a lot because I'm trying to find words. I may repeat myself over and over, and that's because of the encephalopathy that I have developed in my brain, because of the damage that is being done, which they're hoping will repair itself. And there's going to be days that you're going to see me kind of more muted like this. And then some days you're going to see me where I'm a lot more brighter and spry, more expressive. And my neurologist has told me that I have developed acute language disorder, acute expressive disorder. In other words, when I'm having these attacks, my expressive looks and the way I express myself is null. It's null and void. It's like gone. So I'm just curious to see how many other people are out there experiencing some of these things. Today was not a good day. I had a really bad morning. I'm starting to feel a little better after taking Zipzor. I just want to share this journey. I hope this helps someone out there, and we'll talk to you soon.